Um. Oh, pull my blanket over, cover a lot of the detritus on the bed. Change the angle. Hello, hello. I am here. Me and Tina. I've just given her dinner. Her. Yeah, I've given her dinner. So her. Oscar, hello, mate. Hello, hello. Are you? Okay. I got Roger and Oscar. You guys, you've never have you met? Have you ever spoken, Roger and Oscar? Two of my best followers. Best. I don't know. That's not the right descriptor. Two of my most frequent or most contactful. Is contactful even a word? Can you say contactful? I'm drinking an afternoon beer from my friend Ismo, who was just here this afternoon. Um, can you hear? Can you hear her ladyship? I'm quiet again. Don't say that. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna take the power cable out. I got the SIM card removal tool. We're gonna prod in the. I don't know how hard to push. I don't want to break any membranes or whatever, which speakers and microphones rely on, like a paper membrane. Tell me, is that any better? Maybe I step out and step back in and it fixes. Like, I was going to say yesterday, like Friday. Where are we? Any better? Don't sit on your hands. I try not to, amigo. I try not to. Blimey, you're loud. I think someone's taking the piss and I don't know who. I don't know. I can't control the volume from this end. You've got speakers your end. Um, but there are two microphone slot. Well, there are two holes that I expect are microphone related, but I've got no idea. I've been listening to a few videos lately, and the person's only coming out of the left. So when my phone is laid horizontal, it has a left channel and a right channel. Quite often, people are only out of the left. I don't know how they do that. I wouldn't have the clue how to do it deliberately. My microphone volume, I don't think I'm in charge of. Sign of nature. I never got your name. Go on, give us a first name. What do I call you really? Are you a Fred or a Steve or a Dave? Who are you? Don't be Mr. Mysterious. Give us a fucking handle to at least call you. Like Oscar and Roger there. Super Enriched is Oscar. DJ Son is Roger. Mr. S, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone, everywhere, all around the world. However, it is that you normally introduce yourself. Left and right are the same. You're Keith. You're a Keith, but not with an F really. EITH, I'm guessing. I shall add that to my list. Another time. Maybe not now. I don't even know where it is. That okay? Here we go. Hold on. I'll do it now. Just hold on, because well, none of those typed in. I just typed it's asking for a password. I typed 4 digits and not one of them went in. Hold on. I do have a thing. It is a thing. I have to come out with the TrampCasts folder. I've been making great use actually of the Hey, Frank. Hello, hello, my friend. We must catch up soon. And I think I said that 2 months ago when we last caught up. Hold on, wait a minute. People's handles. What is it? Sound of nature? Sound of nature is a Keith. Not like that. Okay. I'm going to type it as you did with an double E F. But I know really that it's an EITH. Anybody else with a strange name that wants to dox themselves and at least give me a real world handle to call them by? Doesn't have to be a real name, but something less obscure than sign of nature. Mysterion. This is the voice of the Mysterons. We know you can hear us, Earthling. Hey, Frank. Look, Frank. Let me tell you. So here's my phone. The phone is what I'm using to broadcast now. My phone sits over there as a like a router, if you're of that persuasion, all day, and I use the one charge will power this for 16 hours. The tablet, but my tablet doesn't get what's it called? What am I saying? My tablet doesn't get WhatsApp. WhatsApp. That's the word I was looking for. Only my phone gets it. I leave what you can't have two devices plugged into WhatsApp at the same time. Messenger's no problem having two. One goes plink, the other goes plink. It's all good. WhatsApp doesn't work that way. And because if ever I get arrested or if anything happens, I want a source of contact. I leave the phone as the WhatsApp thing. So, Mister Nadobody, I keep wanting to call you, and if I wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, I probably should give you a try. 4 or 5 in the morning, my time, and I often do wake up at that time, and it maybe just doesn't enter my head to try, because to me that's the middle of the night, and I don't want to disturb anybody, so I fuck it up. I am not blanking you. I'm not ditching you, dissing you. Um, you're glad you caught tonight's TrampCast. I'm glad you did as well, mate. Backspace key. Oh, when the backspace key, when you type something and then it's not even stuck, but it senses like a droplet of water or something on the screen, and the whole thing it just deletes the whole fucking message that you spent 10 minutes typing. I hate that. Terry, hello, my container. He says. That's Terry. If I remember correctly, Terry, you're in Wales, yeah? I got to see my sister's baby cats again today. That's always nice. People's pets, people that you know and their pets. That's always good. They grow so fast. Yeah. I'll just make another burner messenger account. Uh Messenger is more available to me. It has to be said. Only because of my own decision about leaving the phone. Like I said, it's for so long I had one device, and the one device broke. And I asked you guys, and I said, I had 20 minutes of power left. I don't know if any of you were there. I had 20 minutes of power, and I went on a scruff dog and I said, guys, the connector's just broken on my phone. I'm on 5 or 10%, and it's gonna fucking die within an hour or half an hour or whatever. Um, blah, 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 blah. And I had two guys trying to send me phones, and they both failed. To be honest, nothing against them. It's the mail services and the mail. You know. Karen a week or two later came out and she brought me the phone I'm using now. Karen then later on, Karen, other people were saying, "Hey, I've got a tablet I can give you, or I've got things I can give you," and people brought me things, and Karen also brought me a what is it? It's a Samsung. Is this an A7 or an A9? I'm not. I can't quite tell. I was never one for measuring by hand size. I know what you're saying. Shush. I think it's a Samsung A7, but it might be an A9. Um, and then people brought me laptops, and I got my hard drive up and running. I got everything pretty much at the minute. If I told you that I'm sitting so pretty, I don't know what to do with money or with power. It sounds like I'm bragging. I guess it sounds bad. Hey, babe, what's going on down there? You're not trying to get back on the bed? Sorry, I think she's just finished her food and she's looking around and wondering what to do next. I went to the shop before, and when I came back, she was halfway up the fucking road. I left her inside the tent with all the doors closed. But she's broken this door here. She can get out of the bottom. When I came back, she was halfway up the fucking road. That's my Tina. Hey, babe, come here. Can I get you back on the bed, darling? Tina, girl. Your back end's still on the bed. Oh, that's going to cause you trouble. No, 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 no. Don't go off the bed. Come here. Come this way. No, no. Give me a second, folks. Sorry. Hey, babe. If I pick this up and drag this way, if I pick up and pull, here we go. Look at that. Yeah. That was easy, wasn't it? You were pulling this way and I pulled this way. I just had to add. I just had to add to you. Yeah. Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about the fly swat. Hold on. Let me just. Hold on, folks. I'll be right with you. I'm coming back. I just had to help my girl. She had her back end on the bed and she was often eating her food and drinking her water. I asked her to come back and she couldn't. In her head, she would have had to get off the bed, turn around, and come back on. And I would have had to help her come back on. But because her back end was still here, I just picked it up and pulled this way. And she got back. Let's have a look. There was Frank saying he'll just make a messenger account. Telegram can run. I've never done Telegram. I'm very nervous about device, not just devices, but apps that claim to be like ultra secure. As soon as you start using something that's ultra secure, you're adding an element of doubt to the powers that be. They're wondering why you're using this ultra secure system. Not saying I wouldn't use one, but there was Terry arriving. Laptops and humidity don't mix well. I'll tell you what mixes even worse. Laptops and flood water. Didn't get that this time. Maybe next. You're the only platform without censorship. Don't lose your touch. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Okay, Keith. I forgot live chat. I haven't done it myself, have I? I haven't done it. I'm still on top chat. Let me do live chat. Go back to the beginning and see what I might have missed. And it could be like a. Oh, you fuck it. Now it jumps. Terry was here right at the start. No, hold on. No, he wasn't. It's the chat. Fucking stop jumping, you. You are a piece of. Really? I don't even have time to scroll there and let go. It's already. Roger was the first, then Oscar, then Keith, Mr. S. Okay, folks, I'm here. I'm here. No, I'm coming forward. Sister's baby cats. Just make another messenger account. Forgot live chat again. That was Mr. S just now. I forgot it as well, mate. In fact, I haven't done any of my introduction. Where are we? We're 16 minutes in. Okay. The channel is. The channel is fucking chaos. The channel is Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. Delta Mike. That's me. My name's not Mike. My name's not Delta. It's the NATO phonetic alphabet of my two initials, DM. But you can call me Mike. That's no problem. I've got used to it. It's a thing. So that's me, Delta Mike. It's a character I kind of play on the internet. When I say that, folks, all I mean is it's a name I've adopted. I'm not lying. I'm not playing. I'm not pretending. I am a homeless guy. Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. Down and out. Homeless. A tramp. A hobo. An indigent person. A person of no fixed abode. I'm sure there are other words. I messed my lines up there. Um, Someone who lives rough, lives on the streets, or in my case, in a field. That's Delta Mike down and out in Torrevieja. Torrevieja is a city on the southeast coast of Spain, in the Costa Blanca south. I've been trapped here for three and a half years. My bank in England decided that I'm not me. And to protect me and my money, they wouldn't let me have my money. Because that's nice. Full story, if you want it, there's a link in the pinned comment. I believe the second link is to my my first live stream, TrampCast 001, where I laid out my whole kind of life story, my whole backstory, who I am, what I am, why I am, how I became homeless in Spain. The whole thing's there in TrampCast 001. Highly recommended. I watch it about once every 6 or 9 months. I watch it back periodically. But if you're new here, that's where you want to be. Uh, Thumbs ups are always welcome, folks. I always like a thumbs up. Uh-oh. You're putting me in Clive territory or something here now, aren't you? I don't want a thumb up. No, no, it's not that. Just a like on the internet is all I'm asking for. No, no proctology. Let's put it that way. Proctology is not my thing. Um, each to their own. You do you. It's just not me. Okay. Let me see what else is happening in chat. It's rocking. Why is it rocking? That's better. That's far more stable. Hannah Bella. Bella as in pretty, bellissima. Yeah, okay. Hello, Hannah. I don't assume Telegram is secure. No, I wouldn't either. If any app is released and said to be secure, I assume it's been released by the powers that be to sucker people into releasing um, information. Like when Israel released those beepers, those buzzers, those what's the word I'm looking for, guys? What do you used to call them that give a little text message and then you had to call back? Why have I not got the words? Why have I not got the vocabulary? What were they called? All through the 80s and into the 90s. You didn't text message. You sent someone a text message on the phone, and on their little beeper, they'd get it, and then they'd have to go find a phone and call you back. Israel released a load of those, didn't they, and told everyone how secure they were. So the terrorists used them, then they blew them up. They literally planted fucking explosives inside these super secure, whatever the word is. I don't know what the word is. Pseudonym, says Mr. S. In relation to. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, using Mr. S instead of a real name. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And is legist, also known as. He's my favorite conspiracy theorist. Okay. Lives in law, trapped in the legal. No thumb in, only up. Okay. Son of Nature's he's got his Latin lined up. Jus in rem note casim persona. Justice is not something person. Not sure. A kind of trust signal being secure. I'd trust it until I didn't page you. Fucking why could I not remember pager and paging? Thank you, Oscar. You're my hero. To paging, pager. They were such a big part of company life. And I remember doctors in the NHS having them right up to me coming out to Spain. In England, they were still taking faxes. At the nurse's station, there'd be a fucking fax machine. 2016. Yeah, 2016. And there's still a fax machine at the nurse's station. And now they switched to computers and they're all getting hacked by every phishing exploit ever. Who knew? I have not, so far, introduced you to her ladyship tonight. We talked about her. I went and picked her up and put her on the bed. Hold on. But what I haven't done, hey babe, flash. There's a lighting symbol next to flash, but it's the flash that we want. Hey babe, I know your eyes are not really red. It's Tina, Tina. Hey girl, can I get a cuddle? Let's see if I can get a nice cuddle. Hey, hey, yeah. She's getting a little bit thinner, folks. She's losing weight. She's got a bowl full of food, but she doesn't always eat it all. Hey, babe. You won't know this, but it smells quite stinky in here. I think I've hinted at it once or twice, but the the degeneration of her body continues. She, to put it mildly, she doesn't get much of a warning when she's about to poo. Sometimes she can whimper for me and I can get her outside. Other times it's happened before either of us know about it. and all I can do is bag it up and throw it out the door. So she might be on the floor when this happens. If we've been for a walk, if we've done the walkish thing, I'll often just put her inside the door and then walk. Maybe I have to walk around her coming through the other door. I'll leave her on the floor. 5 or 10 minutes later, there's an excretion on the floor. But it's not only on the floor. At night, when she's in bed, she doesn't seem to get any warning. It's just there. Now, fortunately, it's very dry, very compact, and I just pick it up, and there's no, there's no mark, there's no, you know what I mean? There's no. It's not like there's a brown stain on the quilt or on the blanket or whatever. We're lying on two quilts, and then we've got one blanket that I try and keep over the two of us. That's all. It's just one blanket. Um, it's still not. It's at night. They're talking about like between 15 and 18 degrees most nights. Sometimes it stays above 20 still. Um, well, Tina's. Let me say, this morning, I put the belt under her belly and I went to lift her up and take her out, and she couldn't hold on. She started peeing before we even got, not just before we got out the door, but before we got off the bed. She she pissed on that end of the bed. The deterioration. I've said all along that the vet said she thought it was a vertebrae thing, and I've seen no sign of that. Um, and then the vet said if in 30 days there's no improvement, we might have to look at. And then she didn't say, but the implication was there. I think she was just looking for the money for putting Tina down. But as I've seen it all along, I've seen it as a deterioration, as a neurological issue, and everything that I see seems to fit that. The deterioration of controlling her bowel, controlling her bladder, everything. Her front legs, when she props herself up, the front legs sometimes just give. It's clearly to my mind, and I don't. These doctors, these vets, they're all so mercenary. They're only looking for money. Now I didn't pay. She was sent here by a charity. If I was that charity, I would be looking at her to see. Well, I'd be investigating. I'm not going to say any more right here, right now. I just farted. I hope you didn't hear that, but I did. Um, if I was the one paying that vet, I wouldn't be happy, and I'm not happy. But I wasn't even the one paying, so I don't know how firm to be. We'll give it 30 days, and if she's no better, we'll have to investigate our options. She hints at and says, "No, just no." I don't even remember how many months ago that is. Is that 4, 5, maybe even 6 months ago? I'm going to keep Tina here with me until. I'm not going to say until I can't. I'm going to say until it's no longer in Tina's best interest. Tina's still Tina. When if I'm out and about and she's in the tent and I come back, she's Tina. She's happy to see me. She wants to see me. She wants to kiss, lick, do all the doggy kind of things. As long as she's Tina, whatever infirmities or whatever she has, that doesn't matter to me. That's Tina with an infirmity, but it's still Tina. It's my Tina girl. Say that, and she pops up. Yeah, hey babe, Tina girl, my girl. Today, my friend Ismo came around. My friend Ismo, Ismo Finlandia, my Finnish friend, and he brought. I think he brought 11 beers. He said, and as soon as I told Tina, Ismo's coming, Uncle Ismo. She's up. She's around. She's trying to run out of the tent. She wants to go see him. And I'm like, no, no, not now. Half an hour. 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Just catch. Not now. Soon. But she's Tina. She wants to go. She wants to see him. She wants to lick him. She wants to. She will run to him. It's bum shuffle rather than an actual run. But Tina is still Tina. And as long as she is still Tina, I'll be there to hold her up, to carry her back, and to carry her entirely, or to put her in a. Or to, oh, fuck. Or to put her in a doggy chariot. Sorry, folks. This cough doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I might end up in the ground before Tina at this rate. Sorry to put it so euphemistically. Let's have a see. I'm gonna scroll back because I haven't seen. Is she still? Yeah, drinking plenty of water, Frank. She's fine. It's a full moon soon. It was quite bright when I stepped out earlier. Bit of cloud, so I couldn't really see the. I couldn't really see the sky, but they don't seem to understand not every computer needs to be connected to the internet. That's true. Yeah, some things need an air gap, as the old terminology had it. Motorola had the talk about pager with SMS. Pager, yeah. That's all you guys tell me when I couldn't remember the right word. Pager was indeed the word. Such a simple word, and I couldn't get there. The synapses just weren't firing. Vet can only speculate, scans and tests to determine condition. Yeah, but they didn't say, hey, let's put her in the car and let's go. They just came out, ran a hand under her belly, pinched, and Tina went, oh! And then they went, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. And then ran a hand down the spine, and when I wasn't looking, they pinched, and Tina went, oh! I pick Tina up 20 times a day. I carry her around with a belt under her waist. I wrap it as tight as I pick her up off the fucking ground. When we come into the tent, I throw her on the bed. When she's on the bed, I pick her up and move her this way or that way. It's all very, very physical. Not once has she ever gone, ow! You've touched me where you shouldn't touch me. Not once, ever. Never, ever, ever. And it's such a physical life. She likes to lay like across the bed, horizontally across the. And I have to pick her up and fucking. I'm moving her like 10 times a night. Not once has she ever gone, oh, you're touching me and it hurts. She doesn't have a fucking bad back. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, the police kicked her. Yes, the police are a bunch of bastards. I do not believe that that's this. This is a deterioration gradually over 18 months now, nearly 2 years maybe. What's 18 months? What's another 21 months, let's say. That this isn't one kick from a policeman. Much as I would like to be able to say they're a bunch of bastards and those guys kind of killed my dog or hurt my dog, that's not this. It is just not. It is just not this. In my Now, maybe somebody more qualified could tell me how wrong I am, but to my mind, that's not this. Wait a minute. He's there. I got live. There's a bar there, but I got live music there. Can you hear that? Somebody with a big speaker in the car boot has opened the boot and it's blaring out from over there. Vet can only speculate. So can I. Only scans can tell. Yeah, no one's done a proper scan. And I can't. Let's face it. I get Americans coming on going, "Why don't you get an MRI scan?" I'm like, "Because I don't have 5,000 to spare. The fuck are you talking about? An MRI for your dog? I probably wouldn't get an MRI for me. The fuck are you? Just no. Never a guarantee with any kind of doctors. This is true. Sign of nature, he goes straight for contracting, contract law. You only contract with the doctor, ends contracts is what they say. Okay. End of July. Was it as recent as that? July. August, September, October. So 3.5 months ago, maybe. She'll keep going until front legs collapse. Happened to my dog, sign of nature. Yeah. Um. Yeah. If she didn't have use of her front legs, if I couldn't put her in a chariot, or if I could, if even if I'm lifting the back end, if the front end's not there, I would have to. I would have to seriously consider the options. I'm not going to be fast to. I'm not going to be quick to the jump, quick to the leap. But I do accept that once she doesn't have movement, there'd be no kind of life. Me picking her up, taking her to her water, taking to her food, me just picking her poo up or carrying her outside when I think she might need a pee because she wouldn't have control over that. Um, I would have to, I would have to make the decision at that point, somewhere around that point. I got no idea how much. I don't even know how to use the words, folks. How do you put a dog down? I assume you don't just turn up on the day. You make an appointment with the vets beforehand. Then you take her in there and you say your goodbyes, maybe at the door. At the door of the vet, she's a free person, a free individual. You go in knowing that she's never going to come out. You kiss her, you cuddle her, the vets do their thing, she dies. You cry and you cuddle, and then you get up and you walk out without your dog. You entered with a dog. At the moment you entered, you had a dog. When you leave, you don't have a dog. How much does the vet charge for this um, service? I guess service. What are you looking at? 200, 500, 700, 1,000, 1,500. What's the? I don't even know what the ballpark is. I've never. This is my first dog. I've got no clue. What do I bring home to remember her by? A lead? A collar? I mean, the tent's going to be filled with her fucking hairs. I'm going to be living with her hairs for. cost to put a dog down in Spain? Give me a clue. Give me a ballpark. Soul mining. Hold on. I gotta check in case, because I think I've got. Did I ever get a? I did not. Soul mining. Did I ever get like a normal first name? Something to refer you by other than soul mining. You're most welcome, my friend. And if you prefer to stay anonymous, that's not a problem. I just like to refer to people by a Chris or a Steve or a Dave or some other handle. Tina will let you know when she's had enough. They normally go away somewhere alone and quiet to pass. My last dog I put down, I held his paw till he passed back in 2013. It cost 70. It's going to cost more. Here, the putting the dog down and then the disposal of the body, that's probably going to be a couple of €100, I would have thought. I don't know, Frank. Maybe it's just different here. Some dogs never give up even when it's clearly time to go, Mr. S says. Yeah. Very difficult when you have to make the decision. I hope it should be difficult. I mean, it should be. It shouldn't be. Well, I mean, if it's. I've got a friend who woke up in the night and his dog was in pain and whimpering. Um, so it'd been building for a while, but then the dog woke up in the night like in actual pain. And that was the signal. I guess I hope we don't reach that point. Whilst it's a clear delineator, you don't want your dog to. Hold on. Frank spent another 70 the night. Hold on. Had the dog cremated was an extra 70. But the night before, when you rushed to the vet in an emergency, that was 1200. Fuck. Hit by a car. Oh. But the 1200, mate. 1200. Dogs are people too. You need. I try to remember which side of the border Frank's on. You're on the US side, aren't you? Yeah, no, you need nationalized healthcare. Social, what do you call it? You guys are funny with your socialism and your socialized. You're very concerned about communism. Healthcare isn't communism. Anybody can get ill, and therefore you should have a. The whole country should just automatically pay into a system to cover everybody. I think I've told this story. I heard about some what do you call them? They're usually German or Dutch, and they withdraw from the rest of society. They have the beards. They don't do electricity and any of the modern stuff. They're horses and wagons, and they do everything themselves, farm wise and building property. If someone needs a new home, the entire town turns out and helps frame and build and put up the new home. There is a word. I almost had it a second ago. I didn't get it. I'm not going to get it. It's not going to come. Give me a multiple choice and I'm going to pick it out straight away. Give me a clue with half a word. Half a word and I'll get it. what do you call them? They always have at least 3 months worth of food in, and usually a year's worth. They live a very simple and proper kind of life. And now I don't remember why I went off on this tangent. Even if I remember the name, I'm not going to remember why I'm here. I've got to watch this one back tomorrow just to work out where I was fucking going. If I knew where I started, I might have a path to get there. At the minute, I've got no fucking clue. Sorry, this was about Frank and his dog. So I think he said 70 before for something else, and then 70 to another 70 to have him cremated. But the kicker was the 1,200 in emergency bills. Yeah, no, that's not Quaker. What am I thinking of? I'm gonna jump to the bottom. Thumbs up, surely. No ads here. Yeah, you don't get any ads because I'm not monetized on Amish. Thank you, Frank. Oh, and Mr. S. You both got there about the same time. Yeah, 22:48, which is 2 minutes ago. The Amish. That's them. Dutch stroke German in buggies and horses and I'll always remember not the 9 o'clock news piss take of them. So if you think that they're like we draw the line at like 1850 or something. No new technology beyond that. Not the 9 o'clock news, the British comedy series did a skit. Imagine you picked I don't know 1983. Nothing more modern than an Atari. You've got a TV, you've got a radio, you've got computer games, but you can't go more modern than an Atari because that was the state of affairs in 81, 82, 83, whatever fucking year it was. I always thought that was a clever skit, a clever piss take. Because there is whenever you get somebody who decides nothing more modern than. There's always an element of why did you pick that year? Why not the year after or 10 years later? Or why, why is that the epitome of mankind's progression? Don't come any more forward than that. Sorry, folks. I don't think this is going to be a long one tonight. After Ismo left, when Ismo was here, I'm going to give myself a bad reputation here. We drank 3 or 4 beers rather quick. I think I said he basically brought a 12 pack, but he'd had one of them last night. So he brought 11 beers. And he'd had them cold for a couple of days. And then yesterday he put them in the freezer. Or this morning he put them in the freezer for a couple of hours. Brought them out ice cold and it was lovely. It was really, really nice. But when me and Ismo drink, we tend to drink. But I'm not used to that anymore. And after we'd had our third beer, I was I was zonked. I was gone. We had one more. Missed again. That, that's that's not possible. It hung there right in front of my face, and I got it. It's a hologram. Somebody in the future is playing with me. In summer, if I grabbed 3 times, I got one. This last month, I haven't grabbed any, and I've tried and tried and tried, like 20 times a night, every night. And I don't remember the last time I caught a mosquito. From a 33% success rate to a 0% over a long term. That's quite a turnaround. That's quite incredible. Unprobable. Improbable. Im, I am, or UN. I'm going to go improbable. I am improbable. I don't know, folks. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. I got to catch up. Amish, you were all correct with your Amish. You'll get there. Yeah. Thumbs up. Surely no ads here. There are Amish computers. Probably run by Charles Babbage, though. They're probably probably mechanical. They can't use pneumatic tires, but can use a gasoline engine. Really? I've only seen them with the horse and the horse and cart, horse and buggy. You've seen them with a hay baler with a gas engine drawn by horses. Should have chosen 1984 as the okay. The guys making the TV program could only choose from the year that they were in, I guess. But yeah, your juice been spiked. My juice? No, not that I know of. We're 52 minutes in almost. This one's almost finished. I've got three there with a light on top. I don't want to disturb them, so I'm going to pick. I got one or two back here. I know people are going to call me names. It's the Arky Tramp again. I'm used to I'm used to the subtle nods and things of people. The people who gift me a bag of food and they'll put four beers in the bottom, but there'll be 0-0. And that's okay. I'll drink a 0-0 with the next man. It's not like it's a problem. You took off. The mosquito was low and it just went high. And this stuff, a friend bought me this 2 weeks ago. Oh, it's backwards. That says moscas y mosquitos. But it says it mirrored, it's backwards. This is the worst fly spray that I've ever had. It's about a third full from the feel of it after 2 weeks. These normally last me 2 months. But I can have a swarm of flies around here and I can spray this right at them. They go away when they're in the direct spray, but within 20 seconds they're back again. They laugh at this. So I've got to go to a supermarket and get a proper fucking fly killer. This is shit. The ones I've had before, you spray and that's it. You don't see a mosquito for the rest of the fucking day. This, not so much. I think it was E-Bog. 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 E-B-O-G. E-Bog. Oh, is that, if you look, if you can reverse it, E-B-O-G, is that an O and then an N? E-Boggan? E-Boggan, I'm going to go with. Oh, I'm assuming the thing with the circle and the lightning through is an O. E-Boggon. Don't get E-Boggan. Mr. S prefers the 0-0s. The Heineken 0-0's not bad. It's fucking expensive though. Hey, Rose. Hello, handsome. Is it safe to inhale that? People have suggested, because I've used so much of it in the last 2 weeks within the bedroom, people have suggested that it might be affecting my chest. I do still have, it's much more prominent now than it was. Prevalent, yeah. My my cough's not my cough's not subsiding. It's getting worse. No, not Heineken, says Mr. S. It's a flower. It's a flower. because he got high. What were those two girls called in the 70s? They had a song, didn't they? I was gonna get up and I was gonna do this, but then I got high. But then I got high. Two girls, I think from Birmingham. Two black girls. Can't remember. Afro Man. Where are we going there? Sounds vaguely racist, unless that's the name of a group. Unless that's the name of the two girls that were singing on top of the pops. He got raided by the police. Who did? Afro Man. I don't know. I'm lost. The weed rapper. I have no knowledge of such things, my friend. I'm so straight. I don't have knowledge of these things. I've had the cuff seen to question mark. I haven't got anybody to see to anything. It is not getting better. You are quite correct. We are now on week 3, possibly week 4. I know it's getting worse, not better. Don't worry, it's not tuberculosis or anything. We're not. It's not consumption. I'm not going to wake up dead in a year or something. It's just a cough that started when I got a bad throat for 2 days. Bad throat. Hold on. The weed rapper, Mr. S, made an album about it too, right? Yes. Who? No. Bless you, says Rose. You can bless me all you want. I'm not religious, so it doesn't have any. I mean, don't get me wrong. It doesn't have any negative effect. I appreciate the best wishes and everything, but the blessings and the God be with yous and the thoughts and prayers and all of that don't carry with me. They don't impact. What can I say? I've always wanted to believe. I've always wanted to believe that there's a controlling force, that there's an element out there watching over. I always wanted to believe. But the gospel, you get about 4 pages in and it becomes bollocks, and I can't. My logical mind can't over. Tina! Oi! Shut up. Shush. It's okay, babe. I know you're not happy, but it's okay. My logical mind. Something is portrayed as it's the gospel truth, it's the word of God, it's the literal. This isn't a man writing, it's God writing to you through a man. And Adam and Eve had children, and one killed the other, so there's only one child. And he goes off and he gets married. To who? These are the first two people on earth. And they have kids, and one of the second kid kills the first kid, or whichever way around it is, and gets banished and goes off. But then he marries and founds a city. He founds. He doesn't just get married and have a kid. He founds a fucking city. Who'd he marry? Where'd she come from? God created Adam and Eve, and they're subsequent at this point in time that I'm talking about one child. It's alleged that they had more children later. It's hinted at, but I don't think in the in the New Testament. I think in the Old Testament. But but who does who does Cain marry? Is it Cain? Abel and Cain. Cain killed Abel and got the mark of Cain and was sent off. banished, basically. Who did he marry? Now, I've read something recently that said he married someone created by another god. There was another god. So the one god isn't the one true god. There are multiple gods, each dabbling with creating children on earth. And suddenly my mind's blown and I can't believe anything in the fucking gospel because it was meant to be gospel truth, but now it's a lie. I would love for there to be a theism, a religion that explained everything and that took care of everything. But my rational mind doesn't let me go there. It can't let me go there. It's not a choice I make to not go there. I cannot go there. In the same way that when there's trouble around me, I cannot stay away. I have to go towards the trouble. Some things are just built in. They're baked in the hardware and there's nothing you can do about it. We're programmed to go back to replicate the God's powers called technology. That would lead you to the Battlestar Galactica remake, where humans adapt and evolve and do all, and then they create robots. But then some of these robots reach out to another set of robots from the last incarnation. They wipe us out, and then there's and we go again, and we create technology, then we create robots, and then we go around again. It's an interesting hypothesis. Kind of like it, kind of makes sense. There's no actual evidence of it as yet. Maybe we're the first generation. Let me just scroll. Adam and Eve is genetic engineering. Well, if she was his rib, that makes her kind of a clone but messed about with. And then when they procreate, you've got basically inbreeding. I mean, he's basically shagging himself. That's like the Pakistani community in Britain. Am I allowed to get political? I don't normally want to get political, but sometimes I do. Whenever I get political, I lose about a quarter of my audience. But the inbreeding in the Pakistani community, they're 4% of the population, they're 30% of the birth defects and stillbirths. Makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Other, basically, the Egyptian. I was going to say empire, but that's not the right word. What's the word for the Egyptian? The pharaohs, the Pharisee, the Egyptian dynasty. Uh, was ended basically by inbreeding, wasn't it? And the Roman Empire. But that's probably a moot point. Yeah, the first part of the book makes no sense. Way too many plot holes. And what happens if you're reading a book of fiction and there's too many plot holes? You lose interest, you go away and you just say, fuck no, that don't work for me. I read the Bible once. I don't mean I read it like one afternoon. I mean I read the whole thing one time. I've said this before. I got some things wrong. Well, okay. We go back to Rob Ryan. Um, this guy told me I got a bunch of things wrong, and some of the things I checked, and yeah, it's like the Bible changed. I read something, had an opinion all my adult life, and then it turns out that's not what it said, I feel Mandela affected. If you know the Mandela effect, I read this thing. I remembered this thing. I've talked about this thing for like 20 years, and now it turns out when you research back, not only does it not say this thing, it never said this thing. Nobody ever published pages saying this thing that I read. How did I read it? If it was never if it was never that, how did I read it? I'll tell you what it was that I read. I read, you know that if a man lays with a man, they should be put to death. So if you're gay, if a man shags a man, and they used lay with, and there was a similar passage about if a man lays with a dog. And when I read it as a teenager or maybe early 20s, if a man lays with a dog, he's unclean for 6 weeks. And I'm like, guy shags a dog, and after 6 weeks, he's good to go and he can go back to his wife and do whatever. And now it says if a man lies with his dog, he'll be put to death just like if he'd laid with a man. There is no way I just made that shit up. I read that shit. In the same way about the universe being created by a god ejaculating. I watched that. I saw that on a documentary on TV. And now there's nobody can find any trace of it. And when I asked Google, it said, no, that's not a thing. No religion believes this. The Google AI said, no, you're a liar. You made it up. And now I've got people coming to me saying, yeah, you're right. One of the ancient texts in Egypt of Aten says exactly that. The ejaculate formed the gods. So you've got a god who created other gods that then create the universe. For 2 months, maybe 3 months now, I've been told I was so wrong it was unreal and I'm making shit up. I thought I was in an alternate universe. And now I'm back in my own universe where that's a thing. You can Google it and it comes up. Pun unintended. To come up. I don't know, folks. It's kind of annoying. There you go. You know the Bible better than me. I'm still trying to understand what they eat. Locusts mainly, isn't it? I the reason I read the Bible, it was a definite know your enemy kind of ploy is not the right word. Strategy. I've been preached at since infant school. You're 4.5 years old, and at the end of the day, you have to pray before leaving school, or in assembly in the morning, you pray. I joined school. They asked, "What religion are you?" My mum said, "None." She didn't even know the word atheist. She wouldn't have known the difference between non-atheist and agnostic. She just said, "No, no, no, we don't believe that shit." I'll put Church of England, says the headmaster or whoever's interviewing us. Various schools at various times. I moved around a lot as a kid. And the same thing happened. If you said none, or you don't know, or you're agnostic, or right, they just put you down. Oh, I'll put Church of England. It's the easiest answer. So then when they do surveys and say that like 90% of the country are Church of England, they weren't. 20, 30, 40% were none, I don't know, I don't give a shit. No religion. But you had a school headmaster marking them down as, I'll put you down as. I liked my headmaster back in the day, Mr. Sowerby. I think he was a good school headmaster. But when I look at photos now, he was tall, he was thin, he was bald, he was a pencil neck. Very much a dweeb or a geek. I don't even think a geek. I'm going to go dweeb. Um, I liked the guy. His kid was in the school. That was, I thought that was kind of telling. He had confidence enough in his school that his own son went to that school. Jonathan Sowerby got a lot of stick because his parent, because his dad was the headmaster. But he was a nice enough lad on the whole. We're programmed to go back to replicate the God's powers called technology. I think whenever we hit uncertainty, and this is at either an individual level, and I think it applies wider. I think it applies at like the nation state level. When we hit uncertainty, we devolve to our past. So, for example, when I was a kid, I had a great time in Torquay. Never been back since. But now my life is as it is. I've got a real hankering, a real pull to go back to Torquay. There was a phrase once, I don't know where I picked this up. Maybe a TV program or maybe something more religious. I'm not sure. A man with no future returns to his past. And I think you can extrapolate that. A country with no future will withdraw to its past. If your past came from warfare, from guns, from navy, from then that's where you might look. If your past came from technological innovation, maybe you'll put a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of resources towards inspiring the next generation to do research and to come up with new things. But in particular, at the individual level, a man with no future will turn to his past. That's quite. I've thought about returning to Barnsley or Darfield, the village outside Barnsley that I come from. I don't know that I would recognise it. I don't know that I would like it. I don't know I would want to be there. But the thoughts crossed my mind. It was an option. The man with no future turns to his past. It's quite telling. Sign of nature. Second generation was Atlantis, we're the third. So you think that there was a prior community, a prior civilization that died off. Their remnants formed Atlantis. Atlantis has gone, and we're the third coming, if you like, of that species, of that. It's not impossible, but there's absolutely no evidence. There are one or two fringe archaeologists that argue. the idea of a previous civilization lost to us. And this is why there are pyramids in South America and in Africa. This is why they're both taking inspiration from some prior species, isn't the right word, but some prior, what would be the right word? Citizenry, some prior evolution, some prior. I haven't got the vocabulary, folks, as you know. I struggle with terminology at times. These things are proposed. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say we're the third generation. Normally, they say that the Atlanteans were the first, and they inspired Africa and South America. But I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a guy in a field. No one knows how many females Adam and Eve produced. Females were not recorded in that time frame. We don't even know what time frame that would be. Cain would have literally taken his cousin rather than a sister. But there can't be a cousin because Adam and Eve were the first people on earth. They can't have brothers and sisters. They can't be cousins. This is the this is the sticking point. Now, if you took somebody, let's just out of the blue, let's take a couple of people in 1066. So let's just call that 1,000 years, okay? In Britain, two people, 1066. Let's assume that everybody has two children. So you've got these two people in 1066 that have some kids, that have two kids, that have two kids, that have two kids, that have two kids, that have two, right up to the present day. Let's assume that a generation is 20 years. So everybody's having kids, as they probably did back then, by the time they're 20. They would have had a lot more than two kids most generations. But let's just take two kids as a minimum. You're getting 5 generations per century. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Da, da, da. After 10, you're 1,020. Is it 1,028? I can't remember. After 10 generations, those two people are present in, their genes are present in 1,000 people who are going to go on and have kids. After 20 generations, that's a million, 1,000 times 1,000. Each 10 generations is another 1,000. 1,000 times 1,000, that's a million. After 30 generations, 3 centuries, that's 1 billion people have their genes. After 400 years, that's everyone on Earth. So the idea that Adam and Eve, their DNA is in everybody, it only takes like 400 years. That's not a difficult thing to believe. Personally, my theory is time travel. I honestly believe that someone went back in time and tried to educate people, but in a more, obviously you have to dumb it down, a more basic concept. So, it wasn't Noah, was it? What was he called? Went up the mountain and came down with the tablets. The Jewish bloke. It's not Noah. That's a different story. It was Chuck. It was Charlton Heston. What's he called? Came down with the Ten Commandments, written by the hand of God, carved into tablets by no man's hand, using lightning. Was, if you imagine the dumb. Do you know how we make silicon chips? We carve into stone using ultraviolet lasers. Lightning touched by no man. And a tablet. Imagine if you went back in time and tried to explain a phone or a tablet to somebody. It was written by the hand of God. No man has touched it. Even the concept, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, whatever the wording is. Father and Son, inheritance, DNA. If you want to go back in time and explain all the way back, you want to explain a continuous line back in history of inheritance. Father, Son, Holy Ghost, or Holy Spirit. That might work as a dumbed down explanation. So much of like ancient religion, ancient Greeks believed in chaos. Something not out of nothing, but out of a jumbled up mass, out of chaos came their first gods. And then out of the first gods came the later gods. So this is Jupiter being, what was his name? He ate his children was the phrasing that I remember. But then he died, and out of him erupted what was the next generation of gods. Saturn, Venus, Mars, whatever. But the concept of a massive stuff becoming a sentient being, out of nothingness comes an organized somethingness. I go with time travel as an explanation. Somebody's tried to explain something to people, and a dumbed down version persists through the ages. And it's not that long a time. 3,000, 5,000, maybe 10,000 years. It's an interesting hypothesis. Let me go. I gotta catch up with you guys. I haven't followed chat. No one knows how many females Adam and Eve produced. Yeah. So I was reading a side by side comparison of the New Testament Genesis and the Old Testament Genesis. And the Old Testament Genesis had a lot more clarity. It gave a lot more details. Not in terms of actual numbers, it just said manyfold. It was, they had many children. Ba boom, ba boom. But yeah. Sign of nature. Keith believes today is revelation. We're living through the end of days. I'm not religious enough to believe that, but I certainly don't have evidence to refute that hypothesis. The Mandela effect is crazy, said Frank. Yeah. Whether it's just us misremembering or whether we do jump between different, like, different timelines, different existences, different. I know some things I've just fucking misremembered or half remembered. I know sometimes I hear an explanation, I go, "You're right. It was that. It wasn't this." Yeah. But every now and again, you come across one and you just go, "No, I fucking remember it being A, not B. I, I will die upon this fucking hill. It was this, it was not that." I don't know, mate. I don't know. That's okay. Yeah, I understood you. I knew you meant Kane. I corrected as I read it. No, non and atheists are very close. No religion and atheists are very close. I think so. What did the? Yeah, no. The idea it was an apple. It's never stated in the Bible it was an apple. It was just the fruit of the banned tree, or the fruit of the. There's this one place you're not allowed to go. Never states apple. Somewhere along the lines, people have assumed apple, but it's not in the Bible. Piece of undefined fruit, yeah. There's Rose laughing. Okay. This is there a time on that? We're on 23:16 for your comment. I'm on 23:30. I'm quarter of an hour behind. I'm gonna catch up quickly. King, hold on. Oh, I need some capitalization there. King de la Clark. May I ask, brother, what is the law enforcement like in Spain compared to soft UK? The law enforcement in Spain is worse in a bad way. They are very keen to go hands on and to get physical. They always want to put. They want a punch up because if I stood toe to toe with a Spanish policeman that I knew I could kick shit out of on a one to one, man to man level, but he's got that. He's got the protection. He's law enforcement. If you resist, if you attack him, if you hit him in any way, that's an extra charge on top of whatever they were coming for you for. So I've had that a few times. I've challenged Torrevieja's Guardia Civil. Pick your champion. I will fight your champion in a boxing ring. Whether you want it to be a boxing ring, whether you want it to be an octagon, you want to do whatever form of fisticuffs you want to go with. My preference is Marquis of Queensberry because I was a boxer as a kid. Um, my preference is shit. My preference is Marquis of Queensberry boxing. But if they wanted to go kickboxing or MMA or whatever, I'd I'd adapt. I'm nearly 60. What am I? 57 in a week or three. Um, I've challenged the entire lot of them, and the bunch of chicken shits have never. The hey, what's he called? The fucking mayor of Torrevieja. I, I, he's so insignificant. I don't even remember his fucking name. If you're watching, cunt, and I know that you do watch from time to time, but if you're watching, your Guardia Civil are a bunch of fucking pussies that won't put up their champ against an almost 60-year-old man. Pussies. Get me in the back of the police car and beat me up, yeah, as you have. Oh, yeah. But take me on in a fair fight where I'm freed from the restraints of abusing an officer or whatever you want to fucking call it. Give me a fair fight. I'll take any one of you. 25-year-old, squaddy looking like, which it would describe most of the Guardia Civil look like they're 25, look like they're squaddies, either could get in the army or have just got out of the army, but they want a fight. They're constantly pressing. They're grabbing you. They're pushing you. They're doing that. There was a video of them. There was a football match. I think it was a World Cup qualifier. And the guys are getting off the bus and they're entering an area where the police have been told don't let anybody in. So the police start fighting with the fucking football squad. They were taking on professional athletes. They had to release an apology and oh, we didn't think anybody should be there. Mate, you were there to guard them while they got off the bus. How could you not know they were going to get off the bus? What are you fucking talking about? What kind of dumb maladministration, miscommunication is that shit? You're attacking an international football team, a bunch of professional athletes. Spanish police, not my favorite people. So that was, how am I gonna, King Dal Leclerc? King Dal, is it King Dal Leclerc? I need some capitalization in there to give me a clue, my friend. First time I've met you. Hello, you're welcome. Please do come back. Please like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Not enough people have tonight. Uh-huh. That's quite deep, man. A man with no future. Yeah, the thing about a man with no future returning to his past. It's a fact. If the police are looking for you and you think you've got nowhere to go, they start, they park up at your mum's house or your sister's house or in villages or towns that you used to be associated with. This isn't, it's not that deep. It's been known for hundreds of years that a man with no future returns to his past. Hello, goodbye. Message retracted. It's flower before message retracted. This is Keith. Digital ID is your dystopian future. I will agree with you, even though you're my favorite conspiracy theorist, and I like to diss what you say as much as possible. Yeah, yeah. There's a deliberate. So, Second World War, Poland had meticulous records of who gave birth to who was Jewish, who was not Jewish. It got into the wrong hands and was used to kill huge swathes of the population. When George Orwell wrote 1984, he had this in mind. He had it in mind, even a good government with perfect records could later be taken over by somebody else that didn't have your best intentions at heart. So it was a deliberate policy through the 40s, 50s, and into the 60s that government was not all knowing, all seeing. It wasn't all joined up. It was a deliberate policy to have separate departments handling separate things and to not share information. It was a deliberate design decision. Now we got into the late 80s and Thatcher started talking about making things more efficient, doing away with inefficiencies, wanting to computerize things, centralize things, and have things more organized to stop wastage. That was a total, what's the word? I want to say something like a volte face, but that's not the word. A total about face. We deliberately made government inefficient because a totally efficient, know it all government is dangerous. If the people in charge now have goodwill, that's fine. But you don't know that the next bunch that replaces them at the next election or the next invasion won't use that perfect efficiency against you. It's literally baked into the system to be inefficient for our protection. It's a good thing. And this seems to have been lost. We've had 30 years of government pushing for increased efficiency, increased centralization of knowledge, increased data sharing, and obviously computers. It all used to be card indexes and files. Nowadays, it's all on computer, and that's not a good thing. 100% efficient government sounds like an ideal that you want. It's not. Because the next guys coming in might be bad guys. And 100% efficient access to information, it's not what you want. Whether they like the Jews, hate the Jews, like the Pakis, hate the Pakis, like the black guys, hate the... Whatever their flavour is, the government that comes in, a 100% efficient government that has that information, even if it's not you that they're coming for. You got that old, what's that old poem, that old saying? I don't know it, but they came for these. I'm not one of those, so I wasn't worried. And then they came for the other group, and I'm not one of those, and I wasn't worried. Then they came for some other group. But that's okay, I'm not one of those. So I didn't protest. Tomorrow they're coming for me. It's that. You do not want an efficient government. It sounds like a money saver. It sounds like it's a good thing to have. It's just fucking not. Even if these guys are not bad, the next ones might be. And if not them, the ones after. You don't want any fish. And Orwell knew this. And this was his, he did a big essay after 1984, kind of explaining 1984. And that's it. You do not want a super efficient government with perfect information sharing and everything in one place. And this, folks, is why I'm against the ID card. Just to circle back to the actual question. It's a long answer. I'm sorry if it's too long. But digital ID, that was Sign of Nature, my friend Keith there, yeah. Mr. S, two surviving kids. You know, Adam and Eve, no, there were lots and lots of kids. If I don't know if this is the New Testament, this might be in the original. So obviously, they talk about Cain and Abel being their first two kids, and Cain killed Abel, and Cain got the mark of Cain, something like a tattoo or a mark, a birthmark or something on his arm or shoulder. He had to, and then he was banished, wasn't he? He had to wander the earth in perpetuity, carrying the mark of Cain, so that everyone would know. But everyone who? His parents are supposedly the first people on earth. This guy gets banished and forced to walk the earth and given a sign to warn other people. Other people? What other people? Plot hole? Mr. Gospel Writer? Plot hole? Now, the Old Testament version has a bunch of people created by another god. God isn't the only god. There were other gods living next door, making cities. What? What? God, mate, Adam was the first man and Eve was the first woman and they had kids. But their kids get to wander off and bump into the humans created by another god? Why don't I pray to that god instead of this god? Why is this one got any priority over that one? Why am I listening to this cunt, not that one? Why did this get wiped from the New Testament? Multiple gods? Not a single entity, all knowing, all powerful. A bunch of entities. But they can't be all knowing and all powerful, can they? If each has got their own. What? And me as a 7-year-old was spotting these inconsistencies, inadequacies, and your all knowing God had you write some shit so that a 7-year-old could spot the potholes. Spot. Did I say splot? Spot the plot holes. All knowing, all seeing, all powerful. Unraveled by a 7-year-old. Get to fuck. Moses, that's his fucking name. I had it was a chariot racing one. Ben Hur. Judah Ben. So the questions are often asked in quizzes, what was Ben Hur's first name? And everyone puts Ben. No, it was Judah, because he was Jewish. Living in a place that wasn't Jewish amongst the amongst the Egyptians. But he was Judah Ben Hur, so his first name was Judah. Why I couldn't get more? I knew it was Moses. I said it was Chuck. I said it was Chuck Heston, Charlton Heston. I just couldn't get there. 15 commandments, but did you dropped one of the tablets? Could well be. Or maybe Windows crashed. It needed a reboot. You should have turned it off and on again. I've seen discussions about whether it was 8. I think the Jewish argue it's 8 commandments. Or some Judish. Judish? That's not a right word. Jewish scholars argue it's 8 commandments, and that we made up some of them, filled in some others, deviated or mistranslated others. Yeah. Glass can be formed from lightning striking the earth. It can, and it's called obsidian when it happens. And you can make it happen by putting. If you take metal poles, like scaffolding poles, and put them in the sand 10 meters apart, form a grid 10 by 10 by, 10 by 10, and wait for a thunder. When you know there's a thunderstorm coming, you can make them happen. And you dig it up, and it forms like not exactly a spiral, but a twisted, massive obsidian of glass. And you can dig them up, and people will buy them either as they are, or you can melt them down. And it's obsidian's this special type of glass. You can melt it down and then make things out of it, and it's more attractive to people than normal glass. But yeah, lightning striking sand. Yeah, I don't know why did that come up, Frank? Um, was it the religion and the Moses and God and all that? Also, if God is so almighty, why does the first commandment exist? I don't. You'd have to educate me. What's the first one? The first one's probably "Do not denigrate your god" or something, isn't it? It's probably one of those. I like the old gods way more. They had much better stories. You go in Greek, the Greek gods and the Roman gods. Yeah, there's a lot of mythology based around them, and all of it boils down to the gods are a bunch of bastards just playing with man. We're pawns in their game. Is how I would. Aliens. It's all aliens. You might not have seen this. You might not have seen this, Frank. I've been watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine again, and the gods, the prophets, the wormhole aliens, as they're variously termed. But yeah, similar idea, and it goes back to Arthur C. Clarke, doesn't it? Any civilization sufficiently advanced will look like it will look like magic or gods. Um, yeah, I3 Atlas is them coming back around. I don't think so. That one traveled through the solar system so fast, the Earth couldn't grab hold of it. That one's just going to keep going. It's not in an orbit of anything that we. I mean, maybe it could orbit the entire galaxy in a few trillion years, but no, I don't think that one professor who staked his entire reputation on it staked his entire reputation on the last one. New, what was it called? Newer or something like something fucking stupid. I remember the first. I remember the first interstellar asteroid, the one I was just talking about. I can't remember the name, but it was something dumb like newer nowhere or something. I remember that. Now we're on number three. Why did I never hear about number two? What was number two? I never heard anything in the build up to or the aftermath of I2 Atlas. I assume Atlas is the only thing tracking these things. What was I2? Look at this, folks. I've just oh fuck! Did you see that? I tipped it that. Yeah, look, drip drip. I've just had a beer bath. Um, almost midnight my time, and I'm taking a bath in beer. I just finished my first can. Almost 2 hours in. This is very cold. That's nice. Do you like a Matt? If you were here during summer, I was drinking beer that wasn't just not cold, wasn't just warm. I was drinking beer that was positively hot. Horrible aftertaste. Oh no. Here's to cold beer, and in a few days, when I get my fridge freezer, I'll be able to make my own cold food and drink. I've got about 10 bottles of pop here in the tent. I've always got, I know when we go live, I've got beer. Usually beer. I do have, I got a bit of cola here. I got some lemon. No, no, this one's orange. Did I finish the lemon recently? I've still got this, folks. I know some of you think I'm a total alky. Here's wine. I opened that about 10 days ago. And I've had that here in the tent about 6 weeks, maybe eight. 6 to 8 weeks. So I know I give the impression of, hey, he's online, he's got beer. Always got beer. I'm lucky nowadays that that's almost the case. I have beer when I want beer. It's not always, but I've got it if I want it. My first 6 months in this, my first 10 months of being homeless, I didn't have any beer. Very, very occasionally, I would buy one of these. This has been open about 3 weeks now. Card Bordeaux, Tinto, Vino Tinto. Um, €1 5 cents. It used to be 85 cents, but now it's €1 5 cents. I would buy one of those at the turn of the month to kind of celebrate either the end of the month or the beginning of the next, depending on how the weekend fell, depending how my money was. But I could usually scrape €1 together. Ideally, €1 and 65 cents, so I could buy the cola to go with it to make it spread further. And one of those boxes would last me 4 or 5 days. I would just put this much in a glass, top it with cola, and I'd have one or two of those per night. This is why I'm a little bit oversensitive when people accuse me of being an alky. Um, I drink. I like a drink. I do drink. I like a drink. I can drink a lot when I do drink, if I'm of a mind to. But I'm not dependent, and that I've told the story of the couple who walked past and who walked up to Mercadona, and I would pass them, and then I'd have to stop because the dog wanted a poo or a pee, and they'd pass me. And when we got there, I was way ahead of them, but I had to tie the dog up. And when I went in, they were just behind me. And the first thing I picked up in the shop was a 12 pack of beer, because that's the first aisle where you enter, and it was the first item on the first aisle, and it's on my shopping list. So I picked up 12 beers. And she's nudging him. See, I told you. I told you it's a fucking alky. Let's go back onto deeper stuff. Beer's no good. Keep your beer crystal clear. Yeah, I'd like to keep it cold and flowing. Bye, handsome. I'm catching an early flight to Barcelona. You could get on a bus and come and visit, Rose. I mean, it's a few hundred kilometers, but I'm straight down the coast. You'd be on the coast. I'm on the coast. It's not much of a diversion. I'm only kidding. You don't have to do that, but you could. Catching an early flight, 5:10 to Barcelona. Good night. We'll catch you later. 23:34. Oh, it's 20 odd minutes ago. Good night, darling. If you watch this back on replay, good night. Good night, Rose. I appreciate you. And I like the fact that you think I'm handsome, even though it means you've got bad eyesight. I wonder how i3 Atlas gained all that speed. I don't think it gained it. I think it always had it. It comes from obviously way out there in not another galaxy, another solar system. It's been thrown. It's been ejected from somewhere, hasn't it? Probably. So our current understanding of solar systems says that our arrangement currently is like a little bit rare. We used to think that we were ordinary, but it turns out supermassive planets, your massive ones, your Jupiters and Saturns, your gas giants, normally orbit close to the sun in their system, and they orbit rapidly and they spin rapidly. Their year is a day. Their year is hours, and their orbit is a day or less. Uh, so everything's spinning. Everything's really really rapid, and it doesn't take much of a disturbance to set things going. and we happen to be in the plane that would be intercepted by these, if I say ejaculates, it's a correct word. Ejaculate means something. Probably best that was while we were disconnected. Fun with words, the word ejaculate. Anthony, hello, hello. When are you back, mate? Anthony's back here soon, I think. The massive planets really cleared up all the rubbish in the early station of our solar system. This is what's believed, yeah. They're like the Hoover, the vacuum cleaner that mops up the detritus, the debris. Maybe why they get even bigger. But then in our solar system, they get thrown out but stay. They don't get like totally whipped right out of the solar system. So they move from being in close to the sun, to the star, but but pushed out. But in other solar systems, they either stay close to the sun or they get whipped right out if there's a big disturbance in the in the formation of their solar system. I don't know. Inside the next 2 weeks, I hope Linda's doing okay, mate. I really do. I look forward to meeting her again and saying hello. But yeah, get well soon to her. If I don't know if that's even an appropriate phrase. I know she's on the mend. What happened to the sound? I don't know what happened. What's wrong with the sound, Mr. S? Sound check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go again. Now I don't want comments on my actual singing because I know that shit. But talk to me about this much louder, but also louder but muffled. Is this like the other day? Was this? It was Friday night, wasn't it? Nothing. I haven't touched anything since earlier, but I'm gonna give it a go. I'll poke a prod in. I got nothing. It didn't even go in. There. That goes in. That goes in. Quick blow. Sorry for anyone with headphones. Let me know. Sound check. She's doing very well. I'm glad to hear that, mate. I'm glad to hear that. And I look forward to seeing you. Let me know before you come. Don't just arrive with a fucking breakfast surprising me. I might have because I'm gonna have a fridge in the next few days. My fridge freezer arrives with friends. I'm trying to remember who's met who. You've met Tom. I don't think you've met Karen, have you? You haven't met Karen and her family. Because I'm getting a fridge freezer, I'm gonna have butter. I'm gonna have these luxuries, butter, margarine. Maybe I'll go to the shop and buy some kind of cream cheese or something. I'll be able to have. I'll be able to reliably keep eggs without having them go off, which they do at the minute. I'm gonna have a fridge freezer, mate. I'm gonna make ice, and some of my cool boxes that I've got will Tweeties next time. Tweeties would be nice. Oh, the German bar. Just for a few beers, maybe. But yeah, anything like that. That'd be nice. Yeah, I've got Tweeties in my mind now because you said that. As long as we bring her ladyship in her chariot, she has to bring her chariot with her. Um, just so that we can get not that she would use it between the car and the building, or not she would use it much, but just for the sympathy factor. We got to play on people's sympathies. Now he's softer again, says Mr. S. I don't know what it is, mate, with the speakers and not speakers, the microphones. Message me after the stream if you're still up. I will, mate. I will. Um, we're on 2 hours, so that makes it midnight my time, does it? Yeah, just after. How did we gain 4 minutes? I was a minute or two late starting because of her ladyship's. Um, she messed me about just as we were going live. It was very much rushed in the end, folks. I took her for a walk and I came inside. It was 9:45, and I'd not brought the EcoFlow across, the tablet, the lantern. I don't even think the lantern is charged even now. Nothing. Let me put the lantern. I got to plug that in, otherwise it might not. See, the other day, I thought we were done about an hour and a half in, and in the end, we went on for 4.5 hours, and I've got no idea how. What's that? Where's the actual? Here's the okay. Here's the actual cable. You should probably go on. Do you remember on Friday the phone flickered and said, "Hey, charge me," and it wasn't a 15% warning. It was down to 5%. We were this close to losing the fucking connection. Sometimes that 5% can go in 30 seconds, and we were that close to losing any kind of connection at all. It's funny how it goes. Message me after. Yeah, Frank, I want to talk to you, mate. I want to make it up to you. I don't. We said a while ago I didn't mean to be ignoring you, and then I've left it another 2 months. I've mentioned in the past I'm really bad at this maintaining friendship thing. Yeah, Mr. S. Friday night you kept falling asleep. You'd come on and go, "What's happening? Where am I? Who's what's when where?" And then you'd fall asleep again. Went to bed and didn't sleep. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, that's annoying. When you can't stay awake and you go, but then you go to bed and then you can't sleep. Sometimes a change in temperature can do that. If it's cold in the bedroom. Oh, I don't know. I'm trying not to be tired myself, but what's happened in between Friday and today? What have I done? I haven't really. More of the same, just watching videos. I've watched an awful lot of cookery videos lately. Oh, gardening. I've been a big one for gardening programs, gardening videos. In particular, like a survival garden. Imagine an EMP or something, a solar flare, knocks out electricity across the world for maybe it takes us a year or more to get back on top to repair. What's the food you want in your garden? What are the priorities? And it's that question that gets me. And you want, even if it's boring, you want the maximum calories. So we're not looking at watercress and fucking sage. We're looking at proper fucking substantial food. So potatoes are an obvious. Um, but other things like what do they call them? Jerusalem artichokes, sunchokes, things that grow potatoes and sweet potatoes, totally different family of. They're not related at all, but yeah, those are the biggies. Carrots, onions are the obvious. Peppers and tomatoes are more. Lettuces, but cabbage just for volume. And I've been watching and thinking along those lines. That's where my head's been the last few days. If I was back in the UK and some shit happened, and you might have to survive 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, maybe forever. I mean, who fucking knows? What you go to? What are you growing? What are you doing? Any fizz left in your can? I've only just opened this one. This is a new can. The other ones were red. Have I still got some of those? Hold on. When Ismo left, those are green. That's green. That's green. Is that those? I got no more red ones. Whatever. Those were 5.6% by volume. Alcohol by volume. These are probably just 5 or 4.5. Let's have a. That doesn't say. Rotate, rotate. That doesn't say. Where is it? 4 point. These are 4.5. The other one was 5.6. So they were a premium. So thank you to my friend Ismo for visiting earlier and bringing the beers. I feel guilty. Whenever Ismo comes around, he brings the beers, and I just drink them. Once I've got a fridge freezer here, I've told him a couple of days after I get it here, he can come round and I'll provide the beer. He's going home. He's going home to Finland any day now. I've got to be quick. Oi. Indigestion and burps. I think he goes home next Saturday. So I got to be quick if I'm going to get him. If I'm going to get him around here. Oh, sorry, folks. I'm sure this is a nerves thing. I can stop it when I concentrate. Breathe steadily. It goes away. Psychosomatic, they used to say. Oscar's got to go. He's working tomorrow. Good night, mate. I hope that wasn't too long ago. 07. 4 minutes ago. You might still be here to hear me saying goodbye. Mr. S says tulips. What's tulips? Tulips were they were a spiral, weren't they? An investment spiral, maybe. Can't last 3 days without water. You are correct. Well, you can. People can go up to 7 days. If you watch Ice Cold in Alex with John Mills. But yeah, 3 days is it's an average. It's a thing. I'm lucky. I've got about a month, maybe a month and a half worth of water packed outside. Maybe not a month. It's a month assuming that I've got other things to drink inside. So I've got pop. People keep bringing me pops, lemon, colas, oranges. I get various pop deliveries. If it was just me and Tina and we were just suddenly cut off now, we'll get. I think we get 3 weeks, maybe a month out of what we've got here. We're at the sea, so we have water on tap. Did you know? Here's one. So the rhyme of the ancient mariner, I think it is, isn't it? The water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. That's wrong. You can drink 3/4 of a litre. This is a pint and a half of salt water every day. Your liver and your kidneys will process it and you will get by. Now that's not enough water. You would need clean water, pure water to go alongside. But you can boost whatever you've got in terms of
clean water, clear water, purified water, however you want to term it, potable, potable, potable water. You can drink. I think 3/4 of a liter, 3/4 of a liter, not a liter and a half, 3/4 of a liter of so a pint and a half of salt water every day. And a man did this. He proved the point. He worked this out, and he proved it by doing it. His experiment was sort of ruined. He was like 3 or 4 months into the experiment, and he got picked up by like a British boat and fed and watered. He was treated well for one night, and then he got back on his boat and went. And some people disparage the experiment because he had this one day of normal eating and drinking. But I think it stands. When he set off, he had half the amount of resources that he would need to make the journey that he made, and he got there to the other end. And that to me says, yeah, his idea was right. So you get 3/4 of a liter, 750 mil of salt water that you can take every day. Come the apocalypse. Pretty sure any edible plants will get stolen if anything serious happens. Well, that depends how you defend them, doesn't it? You remember me and my catapult, and if I was back in the UK, I'd get an air rifle. Air rifles, catapults, bolasses, slingshots, um, knives, big pointy sticks. Take a big stick and put a point on the end. That's not illegal. Even in the UK, pointy sticks aren't illegal. Now, don't walk around with them. I'm talking about times when there is no law and order. So all those rules go to shit. Now, if you've got an air rifle that is limited to 12 foot-pounds, which is the UK limit, I don't even know what a foot-pound is, but whatever. That's the limit. But if you know a gunsmith or a gun shop that could adapt that on day one of whatever breakout is happening, so you don't need your firearms certificate. So in the UK, anything over 12 foot-pounds requires a firearm certificate, even if it's not a real firearm, even if it's still an air rifle. Um, but if you know the people, basically it's going to be anybody running a gun shop. On day one, or even before the outbreak, before violence erupts, you go there and say, look, shit's going to hit the fan. Do us a favour, up this a bit. Tell me the limits. What mustn't I do? Oh, don't fire too rapidly. Don't pump it up too full with your compressed air. Don't do this. Don't do that. But yeah, when it fires, it's going to go faster and harder. Okay, thank you. We're all done. Shouldn't we even be talking about this online? Try not to morph into a tramp, Mike. I use the word tramp a little bit performative. What are the negatives about a tramp? You alcoholism, alcohol, drugs, or psychological issues. Oh, like a drink, take a drink. I'll take lots of drink when I can afford lots of drink. Um, don't morph into a tramp. The dependency. When it comes to people who smoke pot or hash or whatever, it's the same thing. Don't don't do it so much you become dependent. The dependency is where you lose respect, and people spot it. People are not daft. People can see it. If you step out your tent and you're falling over, or if you're constantly tripping over, or people can see if you're stumbling your words or slurring your words. People spot it. Now I've got no teeth, so there's a certain amount of slurring happens anyway. But You all know what I mean. So yeah, I'll try my best not to become an actual Trump. What's the best way to store water? The best way to store water is to start 6 months ago. The second best is to start today. These 8 litre bottles that you buy at the supermarket, buy those. Maybe drink them, maybe keep them full. Just after you've used them, fill them up. Keep lots. 4 litres per person per day. So if there's multiple people in your house, you got to do the maths. If there's 4 people in your house, you need 16 litres per day. Rotate them, use them. The older one has to be gone after about 6 months. Water supposedly only stores for about 6 months without treatment and additives. The additive can be as simple as 1 drop of bleach. Let's say that you've got a bottle, 6 litres of water, 6 litres of water in a bottle, and you've had it a year, and you think it might have gone off. It's not a problem. Take the lid off, shake it about, take the lid off, let some air in, shake it about some more, and then 1 drop of bleach per litre. So 6 droplets of bleach into the bottle. Shake it up, open it up, and either leave the lid off for half an hour and then start using it, drinking it, and doing whatever you're going to do, or put it away again for another 2 or 3 months with that once it's been made good again. Mine's just in bottles outside. The bottles are in supermarket bags. Friends brought them. I've got some 6 litres and 8 litres and whatever bottles of water. 4, 5, 6, 8 litres of various bottles, various sizes. They're just outside. Ideally, you don't want them in the sun. Sunlight encourages, not moss, what's the word I'm looking for? It encourages like a bacterial growth. So ideally not in the sun. But even if it is, 4, 5, 6 months, it's not a problem. Fresh water, yeah, stuff out the tap lasts longer than bad water. Yeah. Weapons have no limit over here. Who's saying this? Mr. Sharafja in Netherlands. Only thing is they're not allowed to resemble a firearm. A lot of them do resemble a firearm, except for the bulbous. I'm particularly enamored of the I don't know the initials. The pneumatic. It's compressed air. I don't like the CO2 needs. You got to go somewhere. You got to do, in the apocalypse. I don't want to have to like go to a petrol station or a filling station. The pre-charged pneumatics you can fill yourself with if you've either got a gas tank, a compressed air tank yourself, or if you've got a compressor. And some of these compressors will just charge from a cigarette lighter socket. So imagine you've got a compressor, you fill a gas tank with compressed air, and your compressed air will fill your gun 10, 15, 20 times. That sounds ideal to me. No external involvement. Tina, sure, Tina! And pumping CO2 into the air given the current climate, pun intended. Tina! Pumping CO2 into the air doesn't seem good. So compressed air is my favourite choice. So yeah, I'm happy that yours aren't limited because that means you're not restricted. I could imagine like in an apocalypse, squirrels. rabbits, pigeons. Um, yeah. The more powerful your gun, the more likely you are to kill on first contact, rather than hitting something and then having to have a second pop to finish it off. Nobody wants that. Nobody wa- Even if you're trying to kill an animal, nobody wants. Well, very few would want it to suffer. You want to get either a head or a heart or lungs kind of shot. With pigeons, with birds in general, with squirrels, with what else is that? Rabbits. Yeah, you don't want to be messing. You don't want to. You don't want to hurt them and have them writhing in agony for an hour. One shot, pop, do the deal. It's to everybody's benefit. You as the hunter, them as the prey. When I had mouse traps, there's nothing. A mouse trap goes off, click, clunk. You hear it. You look, and the thing is flailing around for 30 seconds. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Even if you're glad that the mouse or rat or whatever is dead, you don't want that. You don't want that memory. You don't want to be watching it flail around, dying, waiting for it. Get it right first time. Headshot or heart or lungs. But yeah. Come the apocalypse. SHTF is tomorrow. I think we're very close. Who's saying that? Sign of nature. Sign of nature. You told me your name earlier and I've forgotten it already. Was it Keith? It was Keith. Keith. Um, is the apocalypse tomorrow? I hope not, because I'm not prepared. Give me a week. You gotta give me a week's notice. I gotta see a build up, like I did with COVID. When I lived at my friend's house and COVID was starting to happen, I said to him, I've got some shopping hidden that you don't know about, but I think we need to go and do another, like a desperate shop. Grab all the powdered soups, grab the potatoes, the onions, the carrots, grab grab the obvious. And we got there, and the shop was so busy, and yet most people walking around picking up, they've got their one bottle of wine, they've not got baskets or trolleys, they're picking up one bottle of wine and a bit of cheese and a bit of chocolate, because they're going to have like a nice date night. We got home, and that night, the the lockdown was declared. And I can't help thinking about all these little old ladies milling about the supermarket with one bottle of wine and a bit of cheese and a bit of chocolate. And we'd got like €150 worth of, we'd got the next 2 months worth of shopping in the trolley. Nothing extravagant. But we'd go. Oh, fuck. Mm, mm. This cough's getting bad, isn't it? I might have to take some of you up on the idea of going and seeing somebody sometime soon. I just don't know who, where, or how, or what they would do. Fuck off. Where am I, guys? I don't know what I'm talking about or why I'm talking. Sunlight breaks down the plastic of the bottle. That's true. Yeah, your microplastics thing. But water in a plastic bottle is better than no water. It's just a simple fact of life. Steel wool and battery if you need to start a fire. Yeah, it's amongst the list. You've got various bits of steel and stones that you can clank against it. We used to do it with pretty much any old bit of metal and the concrete lampposts. We could always get a spark or two from them. But I've got lighters. I've got matches. I got that kind of shit covered. Um, and if you had any kind of warning, the Chino Bazaar's got whole boxes, whole displays of lighters. Depends what you prep. It's like everything. It depends what you're prepping for and how much warning you're going to get. How long is it going to go on for? Um, I'll just steal some of the mice my cats catch. Yeah, I've thought about eating the mice that my mousetraps catch when I arm them. Last week, I thought I had a problem and I armed a couple of my mousetraps, but it was I didn't realise Tina was outside. She'd got out in the night. What I thought was mice rummaging through my bins, mice or rats. It was a Tina. Bugger. Yeah, steal from your mice. Yeah, yeah. I don't know, folks. I'm up to date with chat as far as I can tell. I'm going to check. Am I on? I am on live chat. I'm going to go top chat and live chat just in case anything's coming soon. I've missed it. No, Mr. S and his mice. Okay, folks. Where it says 2.5 hours here. Is that the real deal? I started at 10, it's 12:30, so that is 2.5 hours. Do I end it here? Or I think it says I've got 9 people here. I've only got 10 thumbs ups. Folks, if you're here and you haven't done the thing yet, if you're lurking and you're new, there's only 2 or 3 people in chat. If you're one of the other 6 or 7, say hello. I don't bite. Not unless you ask real nicely. And I've got the covers pulled up over us. Then I might bite. Whoa. I thought, oh, okay. Sorry about that. I forgot to do the do not disturb. That's my phone renewing. Not contract, but that's my phone pay as you go renewal. Um, that's an interesting topic. I did not touch any of last month's allowance for downloading, the data allowance. I was still using what had rolled over unused from the month before. This morning I had 100 gigabytes left. Oh yeah. 100 gigabytes ordinarily would do me about 2 or 3 months of my normal usage. A gigabyte, I watch 144p on YouTube. I can watch 1 gigabyte gets me 10 hours of viewership, viewing, however you want to word it. But apparently I'd upped the ante at some point. Now, when I'm doing videos and live streams, these are going out, hopefully these are going out at 1080p. Those will take 3 or 4 gigabytes per hour. But that's rare. I mean, I do 2 a week. Maybe 1 video during a week. Lately, I don't remember the last time I've even done an actual video. I'm going to do one because this field is in full bloom. Ismo came around today and couldn't believe how different it was to about a month ago. Ismo first arrived back in the country about a month ago and everything was dead. And then we've had 2 storms and now everything's fully alive. And it's a wonder to behold. It's like spring. He got hay fever when he first arrived. He was coughing and sniveling. Sniffling, not sniveling. Sniffle. Um, yeah. So I haven't shown this field off, but I will do any day now. This morning, have I said this already? I might have mentioned this already. When I walked to Tina, we would normally just go to the top of the road and turn around and come back. I got to the top of the road and I felt big and strong. So we got to the top, we turned right, we went along, and we turned right again. And basically we came around the block. But my block's got the Mediterranean at the top or the bottom, depending on how you view it. So I went to the top and I turned right, and there was this lady walking her dog, and she was kind of amazed that I was carrying the back end of my dog. And we went to the sea, and I put her down, and I'd not taken if I'd taken my phone, I probably would have done a video. But because we were just going to the top of the road and back, I thought I didn't take a video. I didn't take the phone. But we sat there for 5 or 10 minutes, just looking out at the sea, and it was just an hour or so after sunrise. Very nice. But then we came back, and my arm was aching at the end because she's not light. She's like a 35 or so kilogram dog, and I'm carrying the back end and maybe more. I'm carrying a lot of her weight on this arm. It's quite a distance. We did that though, didn't we, darling? Tina, we went walkies. Not now. We went walkies this morning and we went to the cliff tops. We did. Yeah. Let me see whether I can. Hold on. See whether I can get her. She doesn't like. She doesn't like the. She doesn't like the camera. But that doesn't stop me trying. She's over there. Look. Hey, Tina. You gonna talk to the peoples? Tina? No. No talking to the peoples. Let me see. Hey, babe. Hey. You staying under your blanket? I'm sorry, folks. She's not in the mood to talk to you. That's the best I can do. Tina. Hey. Ismo. Ismo might be out there. Or Auntie Karen. Auntie Karen. On the phone. No, not today. Okay. Sorry, folks. She's not interested in you today. Maybe another day. What do you look forward to for the week ahead? Same old, same old. Now, a couple of days ago, the weather forecast out of the blue, so I'm constantly looking at 7 and 10 days ahead. Out of the blue, the weather forecast had storms in the middle of the week. And then the next day, it was all gone again, and it was all just normal. So I'm not saying I look forward to storms, but I like to be aware and be prepared. Yeah, being prepared is a big thing. Now I've got my fridge being delivered to a friend on Monday, and so I expect, and I'm not. This isn't me putting pressure on my friend, but Tuesday or Wednesday I would expect I'd have my my new fridge freezer here. Now it's a box consideration. It's a lid, like a chest freezer. It's only 55 litres, which is the biggest of the models they do. Cost a fucking fortune, but I am looking forward to having ice, even though it's not as hot now as it was in summer. We still have these hot afternoons where I'm putting the fan on to try and stay cool. But if I've got bottles of ice that I can put like under my arms, behind my neck, down, behind my knees or around my groin or whatever, that'll be life changing. Cold beers, cold water, cold pop, bottle of lemonade or cola that's cold. The ability to have butter and margarine that aren't going to go off within 3 or 4 days. The ones I've got have probably gone off by now. The ability to store meat in a fridge, bacon, beef, chicken, rabbit. You buy rabbit in the supermarket here. €4 or €5 gets you a full rabbit, which is 2 or 3 meals. Um, mm. So the fridge freezer is a jumping off point for lots of changes in my life. Probably the biggest change in my life since I got the EcoFlow and the battery. Sorry, the EcoFlow and the solar panel. The cool box that I got was a misstep. It was okay for the first winter, or the first summer and winter, but then it got clogged with insects, and because it's just I'm gonna say Peltier device, but I'm not sure of my terminology. It it got clogged with insects and has remained clogged. Didn't work this summer. When summer came, I couldn't get the temperature in the box down below 20. Now the temperature outside was 30 and beyond, but having a cool box that won't go down beyond 20 degrees is just that's Celsius. So what's 20? You double to 40, you knock off 10% to 36, you add 32 to 68. Call it 70. Call it 70 degrees. That's not cold enough to be storing butter and margarine and bacon and eggs and whatever. Yeah. So in answer to your question, was it Oscar? What do you look forward to in the week ahead? That's my biggie, is the fridge freezer. Beyond that, I want to go out with Tina a little bit more. We're going to go and we're going to stop somewhere. We're going to stop at a bar or a cafe for a coffee. And I've got half an idea, half an inkling to go and have a breakfast somewhere, but I don't. I got my mate Ismo might come round one day this week. He leaves on Saturday, and when he leaves, as a minimum, it's going to be about 5 months before I see him again. But that might not happen, and it might be 9 months or more. And I was saying to him today, say goodbye to Tina. She might not be here when you come back, especially if he comes back at the later period. But even 5 months from now, last Christmas, I was warning people that Tina might not be here by like April or May. And she survived that. She stayed. She's still here now. We're coming into this winter and then Christmas period. Uh, but the degeneration is there. It might not be forever. It might not be. It's not something I'm looking forward to. It's just something I'm saying to people. My friend Ismo is here. If he gets the time, he's going to come one more time before he leaves. It's not guaranteed though. So these are the things that I'm kind of looking forward to this next week. Mr. S is okay if I call it a night, okay? How much do you pay on pay as you go per month? I pay 15 currently. Who's asking this? Soul mining. I pay 15 currently. Because I do the videos and these live streams, these take quite a few gigabytes to do the uploading of videos and things. When I took out the package, the €10 per month package would have been sufficient if I'd not been planning on doing YouTube. But because of doing YouTube, the €15 package is was a better fit. Now I might be able to step down. The only thing stopping me stepping down is the stuff that carries forward, the unused gigabytes from the previous month. If I step down, that doesn't carry forward. I'd be starting from scratch. So that is kind of holding me in place a little bit. What else? Peltier is correct. I always get lost on what's the one. You got the one that senses the temperature, and you've got the one that moves the temperature, moves the heat. Peltier moves it, and a thermocouple senses the heat. Yeah. And the thing about the one that moves the heat, it can cool, but it can also heat, can't it? If you reverse the current, it'll go the other way. That's what I went for last time. I realise now I made a mistake. I'd been advised by people, Donegal over landing in particular, I'd been advised I needed a compressor based fridge freezer. I should have listened. I only had, well, no, this is a lie. I didn't even have €100 at the time. Karen lent me the money to get what I thought I needed. But I only went, I didn't want to be a dick and go for like €300 or something stupid. I only had, I had nothing, but I felt I had to stay kind of restricted. I had to restrain myself. If someone asks, "What would you like?" you can always double it and double it and double it. What would you like? Yeah, yeah. No, it's only 1 million for. No, no. I bought what I felt was within reach at the time. Now, 18 months, almost 2 years later, I feel I can go a bit further. So I spent 250 on a fridge freezer, camping fridge freezer. Still only works off 12 volts still, because my EcoFlow couldn't go much higher. Keith, Sign of Nature, thinks Tina's got another 18 months. I hope so, my friend. That would take her into the realms of normality, into that kind of 12-year kind of range. Um, I hope so. It's a lot of work for me to carry as I get older, but I made her a promise early on. I will carry her as much and as far and for as long as she needs. Now, if I knew at the start we were going to do the journey we did this morning, I would have spent 5 minutes to put her into a chariot, into a wheelchair. Um, it's just a difficult process, and I thought we were just going out for peas and poos. So only when I got to the top of the field, I thought, let's keep going, let's do more. Cold one side, hot on the other, yeah, yeah. And it's up to you which way you put the current through it, so it can, yeah. But the compressor thing that I've got now doesn't do both. That's cooling with a fridge one side and a deep freeze the other. And I mean deep freeze like -20. Uh, at -20 Celsius, I've got no idea. That's probably still 20 Fahrenheit. I don't know, 10 at least. Guessing from how the conversions works. Okay. I don't know if you noticed, folks, I almost fell asleep a couple of times there, so I'm probably going to call it quits fairly soon. It says here 2:44. Is that a true and accurate count? I think it is. Ismo, hold on. That's my friend Ismo. He's not in chat. Give me a second. I think I'm scrolling through notifications. Yeah. Okay. Oh, not 5 minutes. No, okay. No, 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 no. That was earlier today. My friend Ismo texted me to say he was 5 minutes away when he was coming here. I was able to get out, walk Tina, and then meet him on his way. All right, folks, I'm going to call it quits on 3 hours, so we've got 15 minutes to go. Unless we get a mass, unless someone like does a raid or something and 20 people arrive all at once. I think we're on 9 people here. 13 thumbs ups. I appreciate you. Cheers to everyone who's done the thumbs up. Cheers to the subscribers. If you're feeling left out, if I'm not saying cheers to you, the buttons are down there. Hit those buttons. What I'll do is I'll give you a minute, 1 minute to hit those buttons, and I'll come back and I'll say cheers again. But don't all rush at once. Okay, somebody did. We just hit 14. Let's see if we can get to 16 or 17 in the next 30 seconds. If you're there and you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, give it a go. Help a tramp out. For anybody new here who's wondering what is this, why we're listening to this guy, who is this guy? I'm a tramp, like it said in the picture. I'm a homeless guy, a hobo, a tramp, an indigent person, a person of no fixed abode. Some might say a bum, someone who sleeps rough, or sleeps on the street, or in my case, in a field, in a country where I don't speak the language. Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. All right, folks, we hit. No, we're stuck on 14. All right, it is what it is. Cheers to those of you that have subscribed, to those of you that have hit the like button. Thank you, appreciate it. Cheers. How much do you pay on pay as you go per month? I think I just answered that. That's 15. Peltier is correct. Yeah, less than 18 months. Cold on one side, hot on the other, and you control which. You can make it so it's drawing heat from one side and putting it out on the other. That's refrigerating. Or you can reverse the current and you can put heat into the box. Carry her like a plough rope round your shoulder and wooden plinth under her belly. Kind of. The belt that I use broke a while back, so there's no fastening, there's no loop. If it was still a loop, I would consider putting it over my shoulder. But it's broken, so all I can do is wrap it under her and then wrap it twice around my own arm and lift her. And it's quite a physical process. I took her. We went to the Chino Bazaar the other day. She hasn't been there in about 6 months. About 6 months ago, I couldn't carry her anymore up there. She used to walk a little bit, She took some of the weight herself, making it easier for me. And then that stopped. So I was purely carrying her. And we couldn't get that far. We couldn't get up the road, over the road, and then go to the Chino Bazaar. This week I did that a few days ago. We walked to the top of the road. I got her over the road. I carried her up and into the car park. I went and bought what I was buying, and came out and got her. But this is the thing that worries me now about if I try and go shopping at the supermarket. So I got this bag of stuff on my shoulder, and I've got the dog, and I'm carrying the dog back end, and she's walking. But my shoulder's low, and the carry bag kept slipping off and onto my arm. Now, if we go to the supermarket, she's going to be in her trolley. So there'll be less. I won't be carrying her, I'll just be guiding her, hopefully. Isn't it weird, folks? We're in November. I've not been shopping this year. I don't say that as like a boast. I think it's embarrassing that I haven't been to a supermarket this year. I've only been across to the Chino Bazaar. I went once to Tweety's and I've been once to Murph's for breakfast when Ismo arrived in the country. That's my year. I can sum up my entire year in terms of my trips out of this field, and there's only 3 or 4 of them. Only 3 or 4 trips out of this field. So the idea of going to a supermarket myself. Now, my friend Karen, she will often say, we're coming, but we're going to call it a supermarket. Is there anything you need?" And I give her an ad hoc shopping list of things that I've just made up in the moment, usually. Because I'm not rude enough to maintain like an ongoing list of what do you need. That when someone asks, "Is there anything you want from it?" We're going to the shop. What do you need? Oh, a bit of fly spray. Oh, some eggs. Oh, I don't know. A bit. I'm running out of coffee and sugar. Whatever it is, I feel better given like an ad hoc list of 2 or 3 items rather than here's a list of 50 I prepared earlier. That just feels. Oh, we're going to the shop. What do you need? I give them a list of so many things that they haven't got space to put their own stuff in their car. That's no good. I can't be doing that. Not at all. Not at all. I am coughing a lot, right? And I am sitting here with my eyes closed, folks. What we got? About 8 minutes till the top of the hour. 4 minutes because I was 3 or 4 minutes late getting started. Okay. Let me just check that everyone's saying cheers. I think people are getting ready to leave. Cheers, cheers. That was Mr. S and Soul Mining. Not sure I've got a name for Soul Mining. Do you think you would pick more of the Spanish language up if you were living in a residential area over there, Mike? No. Not in Torrevieja, at least. They're all foreigners. The Scandinavians all have, well, not if not perfect, a high proportion have got perfect English, but a good of the ones that don't have perfect English, a good proportion of them have got adequate English, like to make themselves be understood. It's like everyone speaks English, even the Spanish. You try talking to the Spanish, they'd rather practice their English to varying degrees of efficiency or proficiency. I met a guy who spoke perfect Spanish, and do you know how he did it? Jail. Being locked up in jail for 2 years will make you perfect speaker of Spanish, apparently. I don't want that. I want the perfect Spanish. But this guy's called Mick. Michael. He had perfect Spanish. We'd done 2 years in the big house because he was in charge of trying to import about 5 tons of marijuana. Was it marijuana or was it cocaine? It might have been cocaine. Somehow he was involved in a plot to smuggle 5 tons. This was, I think it was 3 pallets of cocaine. Pallets, not kilograms, not tons. Tons of cocaine. I think cocaine. He got caught, so he went to the big house. But he came out fluent in Spanish. That would be interesting. I don't want it. It's not what I'm not requesting it. I'm not requesting it. But it would be interesting. But no, living in Spain, you don't just pick up Spanish. Maybe if I was in the countryside, off in you hear about these distant villages where they're giving away property for like €1, but you have to maintain the property for 10 years and blah blah. Maybe out in the sticks, but here, no, I don't think so. I don't think it would help. I've never met anybody who knows me. Sign of nature. Um, Keith. I'm gonna confuse people if I'm not careful. I think Keith. No, nobody's ever come up to me and said, "Oh my God, you're Delta Mike. Can I have your autograph?" No. Big Clive lives on the Isle of Man. Small population, 1 million followers, and he's only had it happen a couple of times. 1 million followers, and he's only been recognised in the street once or twice. He goes down the pub and talks with people who don't know who he is. So if getting 1 million means you get recognised twice in your lifetime, me and my 1,600 subs, it's never going to happen. The Spanish don't need to practice their Spanish, no. That's why they all want to practice their English. That's one way of doing it. The prison thing, yeah, that would be one way. Top of the hour, did I miss it? I missed it. See, because my counter here says 2:57 because I started a few minutes late. Okay, folks, we are going to end it here, I think. I'd love to carry on, but I haven't got anything to talk to you about. I covered it all on Friday. We're going to try and finish in the tradition of the channel, if you don't mind. In the tradition of the channel. She's asleep, so we're probably going to wake her up. Look how cute she is there. Look. Oh, I'm sorry, darling. Did the light wake you up? Sorry. Stay. No. Oh, hey, babe. Hey. I didn't mean to wake you up. I didn't mean to wake you up. Here she is, look, folks. So, in the tradition of the channel, Tina girl, hey, you're not going to turn from Tina and from me, Delta Mike.